Welcome back to Bright New Corner Ministry. My name is Cindy Ann Lewis Walcott, and we are continuing with life lessons from the Holy Bible. Today's lesson I call Cause and Effect. We are in the last lesson of Genesis chapter 9, the last lesson I can find in the Noah and the flood story. This lesson can be found in Genesis chapter 9, verses 24 and 25. But I will set it up for you before I read the text and have a discussion. Noah, so far we've dealt with Noah, God deciding to destroy the earth. So letting go. God found one good man, he salvaged. That one man, he had built an ark and he made him a promise. I will sustain your life during the flood. During this time, the ascribed days of the flood, the waters went beyond those days. In the meantime, Noah kept sending out birds on reconnaissance mission to find him dry land so that they can come out. Eventually, God remembers Noah. He stopped the flood. He said to Noah, you can come out. He made a promise with Noah, a covenant, what I call promissory note, by saying, I'll set my bow in the sky, so whenever you see a rainbow, you know the world would no longer, or the earth will no longer be destroyed by water or by a flood. Noah is now out of the ark. The flood is over. He's planted a garden. He planted grapes. He harvested his grapes. I'm assuming he made wine. It doesn't tell us he made wine, but it said he drank wine. And he got drunk, and he's lying in his tent naked. One of his sons, his younger, so he has 3 sons as far as the book says, the Bible says. So it says his younger son. So I don't know if it means the middle son. One of his sons comes in and seen his dad naked and went out. Rather than cover up his dad, he went out and talked to his 2 brothers. His 2 brothers came in, walked backward, try not to see their dad's nakedness by walking backwards, and covered up their dad. So now, because of this, we're going to see what's happening next. So Genesis chapter 9, verses 24 and 25. So I'll start reading from 24. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. So Canaan is not the person, according to the Bible story, that saw him naked. Canaan, according to the story which we read earlier in verses 22, is the son of Ham. Ham is the one that saw his dad naked and did nothing about it. And in that lesson, we dealt with, respecting your parents, honoring your parents, filial piety. So now we're here, and because I call it cause and effect, because you can see what's happening. Noah got drunk. Noah was indecent. His son saw him. His son did nothing. Noah's awake now. And Noah doesn't reflect on himself, but he's looking at the actions of his children. And because Ham didn't cover up his dad's indecency, instead he probably exposed him more by having, by telling the others, because nobody had to know what he's seen. As a kid, I had a lot of problems with this particular text. It was painful to me. I just couldn't understand why he would pronounce a curse on his grandson, not the son that actually committed the act. And lots of people, in discussions with people, what I find generally is they take this as an excuse for their behavior. So they would say, they look at this lesson as, well, my father sucked the sour grapes, that's why my teeth's edgy now. My sister told me a story once, and I used this story, and then later on I found in the book of Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20, which is way ahead of where we are, but this is going to refute the lesson that says what my dad did is the cause of what is the reason for what I'm doing today. And my sister told me a story. I want to share it now because it's relevant to this. About two young men, you know, they had an alcoholic dad. Their dad drank, abused his wife, abused his neighbors, abused his children. He was a bad man overall. His two sons, one grew up and didn't drink and did everything right. And the other one grew up and be exactly like his dad. And the first one, that was the good son, you know, good to everybody, was asked, why are you this way when your dad's the opposite? And he said, I am this way because my dad is that way. And when they asked the bad son, why are you this way? He said, I am this way because my dad is that way. So that it's an excuse really for us to take this text to say that my father sucked sour grapes, so therefore Noah Ham did something, and therefore Noah cursed his son. We don't know what the circumstances were. I think, from my opinion, I believe Noah is seeing that Ham's responsible for growing his son well. And if Ham can do something like making light of his father's indecent state or vulnerable state, that means Ham would probably have nothing to teach his children. So his values would be perpetrated through his children. So this is my take on it. I think because Noah was drunk, Ham did something. Because Ham did something, the effect is now that Canaan's being cursed. So Ham, Noah's grandson's being cursed. So I think it's a cause and effect, not necessarily the lesson that I've learned growing up and so on, that father sucked the sour grapes and set the children's teeth on edge, because that really didn't make sense to me. And in Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20, it really explains to me that we're each responsible for our own actions. So this is not an excuse. And I wanted to bring this lesson up, and I'm glad it's there, and I'm glad I found the other lesson to explain that this is just a unique situation. And probably we're going to find this sort of situation happening throughout the Bible. But in the same way, we're going to find the situation in the Bible that says you are also responsible for your own action. I hope this lesson was enlightening to you. Please remember to give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Because in times like these, we need lessons like those. Have a good day now. Bye-bye.